Good morning. I call this the 22nd annual meeting of Riverland Energy Cooperative to order. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, would all the veterans please stand to be recognized? Thank you for your service. And at this time, too, would all the past directors of Riverland Energy Cooperative that are present please stand. Thank you. I'm happy to introduce our acting chairperson for the meeting of our cooperative, General Counsel, Attorney Jessica.
Thank you and good morning. I told him he didn't have to say my last name. Thank you. So I'm Jessica Shrestad. Thank you for having me with you here today. This is my first time at your annual meeting, but I've been a part of the broader electric cooperative family now for 12 years. I'm really happy to be here today, so thank you again for having me. My job today is to make sure everything is run in accordance with the law, the cooperative's articles and bylaws, as well as the annual meeting rules and voting procedures that were adopted at the district committee conference. So I'm going to go over those with you just briefly here. The meeting will be conducted in accordance with the current newly revised edition of Robert's Rules of Order, except as we have modified by these rules. Got a copy here if we need it. Only members will be recognized by the chairman, and if you are called upon, please give your name or address when speaking, and please use your voting cards. Any comments will be limited to 3 minutes, with any rebuttal limited to 2 minutes. Each of you should have a green card in your meeting materials, or at least each set of voting members. Should have the word member on it, and that's what we'll use to designate your vote today. No voice voting. And in accordance with Article 3, Section 4, Paragraph 2 of the Cooperative's bylaws, only resolutions which have been reviewed at the District Committee Conference will be considered at the annual meeting, and I can confirm none were received. So next, it's my pleasure to introduce Dennis Frame, the Secretary and Treasurer of your board. Thank you.
Thank you. My big job today is to announce how many members we have present and whether we've met enough for quorum. In our bylaws, we need to have 100 members at the meeting to have a quorum. Today we have 230 members. President Podler and Jessica, we have enough people to conduct business. Thank you all for coming.
All right. So next I'd like to turn your attention to the 2022 annual meeting minutes. A copy of those minutes are included in the 2022 annual report, and they can be found at page 16F. Are there any corrections to the minutes as printed? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the 2022 annual meeting minutes as printed in the 2022 annual report. I have a motion. Thank you. Is there a second? Young lady in the back, thank you very much. All in favor, please signify by raising your green member voting cards. Thank you. Any opposed? Let the record reflect there is one opposed. Motion carries. The minutes are hereby approved, and the next item of business is a proposed change to the cooperative's bylaws. The proposed change and explanation is found on page 16H of the annual report. All right, so I'm not going to read the entire text of the amendment, but in short, the proposal is to amend Article 5, Section 5, which describes the manager of the cooperative with that title, manager. The proposed amendment is to change that title to a Chief Executive Officer. The reason for that is really just to update and reflect more customary practices in the business world.
Get involved in something that's pretty neat. Co-ops are pretty neat, and not many of them left anymore, frankly. In the electric industry, there's quite a few left, but around other areas, there's not a lot left. Secondly, I have a keen interest in the energy industry and where this country's going with energy. So I think I can add some lots of thoughts and insights there. And I believe I really have some strong skills, if you look at my resume, to bring to the organization and to the board. So anyway, I said I'd keep it short, and that's all I'll say. I just do want to thank David Anderson. He's right there. I know Ken Congdon. I don't know if he's here. These guys helped, and Tim Holton for reaching out. Appreciate their help and trying to get involved here. So appreciate everybody. Thanks, and hope to get your vote. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Hogden, would you like to come address the membership?
Good morning. Thank you everyone for being here today. I'm Steve Hogden. My wife and I live on a small farm south of Galesville. My wife Linda is manager of the food pantry in Galesville, and she's back home in Galesville. The Boy Scouts are doing a food drive this morning, so otherwise she would have joined me here today. My wife and I have been on the lines of Riverland Energy since we were married 48 years ago. And I previously served on the Riverland Energy Board of Directors in the late 1990s and early 2000s. I've got the experience, the background, and the training to serve on the board, and I would appreciate your support, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you to both of you and for your commitment to both the cooperative and your willingness to serve. So at this time, if you are a member from District 1, please locate your yellow voting card, would be in your meeting materials. And if you're from District 7, please go ahead and locate your blue voting card. Give everyone just a moment to find those. And while you're looking for that, if you're from District 6, we're going to have a ballot, so you can locate that as well in your materials. All right, so starting with District 1, again, this is the yellow voting card. All in favor of electing Brad Schmidtnick as your District 1 director, please signify by raising your yellow card. I need to see some yellow cards. Okay, it might be, oh, I see 2, okay. 3, excellent. I think it might be, that's good. Okay, anyone opposed with the yellow card? All right, it's unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Schmidtnick. All right, so District 7, this would be the blue voting cards. All in favor of re-electing Gary Dvorak as your District 7 director, please signify by raising your blue voting cards. I see some blue cards, thank you. Any opposed? Also unanimous, thank you, and once again, congrats, Gary. Okay, so last we have District 6, which because it's a contested election, that's why it's done a little differently. We have the ballots, you can select who you'd like to vote for. Many of you may have already done that if you're from District 6. I know a lot of people did. I think it was a great voter turnout online or by mail. But if you have not yet done so and you have a ballot, please go ahead and mark it now. You can fold it up however you want to do that, send it to the aisle, and we will have some tellers going around to collect those. And then what I will do is we'll go back, we'll look at the results, we'll certify it, and we'll come back and report a little bit later after you hear from a few more folks on that. So while they're collecting those, if anyone's got one, yep, so there's up in the bleachers, anyone see that? All right, we'll make sure we get all of them. There's a gentleman here in the middle of the bleachers as well. Everybody with ballots went to the bleachers. We'll make sure we get all of them, but in the meantime, I would like to introduce Tim Holton, who we did call, at least a few minutes ago, the interim general manager, but I think now I'll call him the interim CEO. Thank you, Mr. Holton.
Just give me 1 second here to get a couple things switched over. Good morning and welcome to the 22nd annual meeting of Riverland Energy. So I just got to throw something out there. I wasn't expecting my parents to be here today, so I got to be on my best behavior. Make sure you let them know what a good person I am. So thanks for coming, Mom and Dad. So again, my name is Tim Holton. I am currently the interim manager at Riverland Energy. Just a little bit of background on myself. I started at Riverland back in 1988, it would have been. I was an apprentice lineman. I got my journeyman card, went to line superintendent, and now I'm the manager of operations / interim general manager. So been around Riverland for a while. One of the things, my first time being up here on stage, I'm kind of looking around the room and seeing a lot of young people here, high school age students, and I just want you all to know that I'm extremely humbled that you got up early, came out on a Saturday morning just to listen to me speak. So thank you, and potentially win a $1,000 scholarship. So, and also I hope that you learned something about Riverland Energy today. I've got just a couple of retirements here that I want to hit through. We had one, Pete Booz was a lineman in Arcadia, started back in 1988, also went through the apprenticeship, journeyman, became line foreman and retired last July. Pete Booz was with Riverland Energy for 34 years. And just to show you what kind of a turnover we have in workforce, we've got 7 linemen in Arcadia today that currently don't have 34 years in. So we're seeing a turnover. Next one we've got here, Jerry Sorensen. Jerry's the reason I'm standing up here today. He decided to retire. He retired the end of last year. He also started at Trumpeau Electric back in 1991. He was in member services, went to assistant manager, and for the last 9 years, he was the general manager at Riverland Energy. Then we've got Mark Schmann. Mark was a lineman over in, well, he started in Buffalo Electric, back also in 1991. And Mark was an apprentice, journeyman, and also retired as line foreman at the end of 2022. Unfortunately, due to prior commitments, none of them were able to be here today. But if you know them or see them out on the street, congratulate them on their retirement. My message today, our message today is going to focus around safe, reliable, affordable electricity. So this is words that we've had in our strategic plans and the co-op model for as long as I've been around. And safe is always the first word. There's a reason that safety has always been our first word. Safe, reliable, affordability. Times are changing a little bit for us. And by changing, safety will always be first, but reliability is becoming more and more important. And by that, you're hearing rolling blackouts, you're hearing generation issues. we need to make sure that we have enough electricity so that your lights come on and you can be safe about it. So we're going to turn things just around a little bit here. I'm going to touch on safety in a little bit. But the first person I'm going to introduce today is Mr. Brent Ridge. Brent is the CEO of Dairyland Power, our wholesale power provider. And Brent's going to come up and talk to us. It's his job, it's his mission to make sure that we have enough electricity on the generation side and also have enough diversity. So with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Brent Ridge.
Well, thank you, Tim, and good morning. Great turnout. This is maybe the 12th or 13th annual meeting I had a chance to attend, and I'd say this is the largest turnout I've seen. So thanks for being here, and congratulations on such a great turnover and an engaged membership. First, I want to thank folks. First, members, you're the reason we're here. You're the reason Dairyland exists. Without your membership, we really have no reason to exist. At Dairyland, we've got just about 500 teammates that are pulling the rope in the same direction every day to keep the lights on and do just what Tim said, to be safe, be reliable, and be affordable. I'll talk today mostly about reliability. But what's interesting, in the room we have both folks that are Riverland members and Dairyland teammates. So we have a number of Dairyland employees that are Riverland members, and so there's a nice combination there. Another thing I'm grateful for is our Dairyland Managers Association, of which Tim has been a part of now for the last few months, and he's been an absolutely fantastic addition. Where Tim's mom and dad, right there, right? You've got yourself a heck of a son. He is. I've known him for about 3 months, and I've found that he has been absolutely professional. He is a great communicator, he's kind, and he makes very, very good decisions, and I'm just pleased to have him, and you guys should be very, very proud of the son you raised, so thank you for that. Let's give them a round of applause. And Tim, I'll take small bills for that. All right. And then the Dairyland Board, of which we have a member in Dave Anderson, and I want to specifically recognize and thank Dave Anderson for his leadership. As he's leaving the Riverland Board, he'll be leaving the Dairyland Board, and he has been an absolutely phenomenal leader at Dairyland that made sure that we had the resources we need to be safe, reliable, and cost-effective. And you'll be missed, Dave, but I'm excited about a new member from Riverland joining our board. But I'd like to give you my appreciation, gratitude for all that you've done. So thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. So this is a high-level picture of Dairyland's system. You can see where the other co-ops are. Those are the multi-colors, and there's some additions on here that you might not have seen in the past. So we've got our generating units, which I'll talk about in a bit, and then we've also added our municipal customers. And just this year, beginning in January 1, we had an addition of all the triangles. So we have municipal members, and when we sell power to municipal members, let's say our excess power, it produces revenue outside of the system that helps lower costs to our membership. And one of the key drivers of that addition is one of my teammates that's here with me today, John Carr, here in the front. If you'd raise your hand, stand up. So John is a key driver. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause. So, he and his team are key drivers in that growth, that revenue growth, that outside growth that helps lower costs to our members. And so if you get a chance to look at this map, just if you have questions for me afterwards, I'll be happy to answer those. So our goal is sustainability. And to obtain sustainability, we've got to focus on a couple of things. First, safety. As Tim mentioned, we've got to be competitive from a cost perspective. And we've got to methodically lower our carbon output, but we do that without sacrificing safety and reliability of the system. And I've got several slides that talk about that. And then, of course, without the people at the organization, we achieve nothing. And when I'm asked what business I'm in, I don't say I'm in the co-op business, I don't say I'm in the utility business, I'm in the people business. And it's about providing the resources, training, and education for our teammates to be as effective as possible as we execute this mission. And prioritizing reliability is absolutely critical for us. And our number one job, along with safety, as Tim mentioned, is keeping the lights on. And so who owns reliability and affordability? Tim and I in a lot of respects, Dairyland and Riverland. The utilities, both the investor-owned utilities and the cooperatives. The policymakers in Congress, that's a challenging bullet point to get support there and get them to make decisions and move forward, because we're at the brink of where policy decisions can radically affect reliability, and I'll show some graphs that show that in very stark terms. And if we look back to December 22, 9 states suffered rolling blackouts during that cold spell. The good thing is none of them were in our region. But our region is becoming closer and closer to being a region that has rolling blackouts in a way to save the overall system. So how a rolling blackout works is if the system doesn't have enough energy to meet the load, certain parts in a rolling fashion will lose energy to keep the system and grid stable, and then they'll come back on and others will go off. It's a very, very bad day in our business, and it's not one that we want to get. And I'll talk about some of the ways we're working to avoid that issue. And again, we're built for extreme events. We're not built for beautiful, mild days like today. We're built for when it's minus 30 or it's 100 and feels like 120. Those are the days that we have to build our system for and what Riverland builds their distribution system for. This graph shows a winter week, and this was that December week when we saw those rolling blackouts. The top of the lavender section is the total load in the Midwest system. And if you look down at the bottom, you'll see green. That is the amount of wind in the system filling up the load requirements. And if you look close enough, you'll see some little yellow blips at the bottom. That's the solar. And so when you think about or you hear in the news, we need to shut down all fossil fuel plants, nuclear is bad, think about that lavender section above the green. That is what's being handled right now by coal, gas, and nuclear. So there's a huge gap. And at Dairyland, we are 100% supportive of carbon reduction. We're also 100% supportive of affordability and reliability. And so on that particular day, about 70% of the energy in this system came from fossil fuels. And so that's the daunting challenge we have as leaders in this business, is how do we reduce carbon and maintain reliability. So this is winter. And it's even a little bit more challenging in summer. So this is a summer week. You'll see that the peaks are higher. The previous slide had about 100,000 megawatts. This is 20% higher. You'll see wind is less, but you'll also see that the solar is a little bit more. But if somebody tells you that we are going to solve this problem in the next 6 years, 10 years, 15 years with solar, think about this graph and the yellow blips at the bottom. And then think about what happens at night. Something has to turn on at night to keep the lights on, keep the heat going, or the air conditioning going, and maintain basic, fundamental safety features of our society. So this is the gap we're trying to fill, this lavender section above the green. And then one of the things that creates challenges for us from an economic perspective is the volatility of natural gas. You'll see spikes back in 2006, 2008, 2010, then kind of a stable period, and then just last year we saw a massive increase, multiple hundreds of percentages increase in price, so doubling, a tripling, a quadrupling of gas prices. And the market that we're in is natural gas based. And so if the price of gas is above about $3.50 a million BTUs, you want to be running coal plants. If it's below that, you want to be running gas plants. And I'll talk a little bit about how our portfolio is built to manage those flexibilities. And so we're not ignoring carbon. We're just probably doing it a lot slower than you'll hear some politicians talk about. And nobody answer this question, but think about it. When you look at the news and what the politicians are telling us what our targets are, when do we want to have a carbon-free grid? I hear numbers of 2030, 2040, 2050. Think back to that lavender space we were trying to fill. We cannot get from wind and solar with 24/7 reliability with just wind and solar. That has to be part of the equation, but it is not the current solution from a technology perspective. But this graph shows you what we're doing to reduce carbon. You'll see on the light bulbs, you'll see the 2022 mix of energy, and when you look, if we look ahead 10 years, you see a lot more green. That's the solar and the wind, so we're driving that. We're driving down our coal output and increasing our natural gas. And then these are the facilities doing that. So we've tried to have a very, very broad, diversified portfolio. These are our fossil fuel facilities. Alma, which is the JP Magid station right here in Riverland's territory, has been operating since 1979, and we own and operate that plant completely. We're owner but not operator of another coal plant in Weston, and then the Elk Mound combustion turbines operate north of here in Elk Mound. And then just in the last year, we purchased a 500 megawatt gas unit in Madison, and both these gas units are intended to operate when, say, the wind goes away, they ramp up to fill that gap. What's really interesting with the closure of coal plants and gas plants in the region, both these plants, particularly the big one down in Madison, they are operating at record levels to not just match wind, but to maintain fundamental reliability of the system. And just as you may read in the newspaper, there's announced closures of coal plants that came out about 2.5 years ago when I got here. Within 12 months, those utilities announced that they were delaying those closures from a grid reliability perspective. So we are clearly in a moment of flux in this business that we're in. And leaders like John Carr, myself, and Tim, and your board are on the leading edge of making sure that we're reliable. And as a co-op, we have a very interesting position in this. We're not dealing with SEC regulations and shareholder meetings. We're able to go out and tell people exactly where the rubber meets the road. And the reality is rural America is where we're going to see the biggest impact because we have few customers on the lines. We have a sensitive system because of the infrastructure needed to serve rural areas. And the bottom line is if we don't get support from the politicians in our country to set the right policy, we're heading towards a point in time where we may not have reliable electricity. So we have some hydro facilities, one in Ladysmith that we own, and then in Sartell, Minnesota, one that we contract. And then here's our renewable generation portfolio. This is going to grow at fairly rapid rates. You'll see under solar, we're going to be adding a 149 megawatt facility in between Madison and Milwaukee. That'll be a huge utility scale solar facility that moves us in the right direction in terms of carbon reduction, but we still need either gas plants or coal plants or a nuclear plant to back that up. And then you can see our wind and our landfill gas. So thinking ahead to the future, as coal plants close, we need to think about what the alternative is. And really, even if coal plants don't close because of CO2 emissions, the fleet is aging. When we think about NTEC, 1979, it's been around a long time. When we think about, JPM, when we think about that coal plant, it's been around a long, long time. There's gonna be an end of life for that at some point. So to prepare for that, we're looking to build a project in Superior, Wisconsin with the 3 partners you see there. It's been worked on to get started to build for the last nearly decade. And when I interviewed for this job, I was told we'd be breaking ground sometime in 2021. Well, here we are in 2023, and we're looking at maybe 2024 or 2025, and that is all tied up in the permitting process through the federal government. And that's increasing our costs, increasing costs to you, and that's where policymakers are so important. I do believe the policymakers in our district and generally in our state are very supportive of where we're going, but it's a challenge. But this is that next step of diversity. This is a cleaner gas plant that will operate very cost effectively and very efficiently from an environmental perspective. We also have nuclear on the table. We have to be able to think 10 years, 20 years down the road. And if we're against carbon, if we want less CO2 emissions, we have to be pro-nuclear. If we're not pro-nuclear, we're either going to continue to emit CO2 and methane and other things that are bad for the environment, and then we're also going to lose reliability and affordability. So we've started the process of thinking about this, finding partners, finding potential sites, beginning the public dialogue and education on this particular opportunity. And so when I step back and think about reliability in general, it's about a diversified approach that's slow and measured. That's different than what you'll hear from other investor-owned utilities. They'll say, we're going to be carbon-free by 2030. When I talk to my peers at investor-owned utilities, I say, tell me how you're going to do that. I'd love to benchmark and copy. Well, the answers are not quite on the tip of their tongue. And so we're going to stay the course. We can stay this course. And really about all the above approach. If you look at the scale, it's about balancing renewables that are critically important to carbon reduction. But coal is going to be a part of our portfolio for a long time. Gas will be a transition to nuclear. And I'll close with sort of the perspective of a nuclear power plant. If I had $5 billion in my pocket today, which I don't, and I had a site selected and we had all the licensing and permitting done, we'd be producing nuclear power in about 10 years. So something has to bridge, and that is a combination of coal and gas. Thanks again for the opportunity. Really do appreciate the invite. And I'll be up front with John Carr to answer questions. John Carr will answer questions. I'll listen. He's the smart one. So again, thank you very much for your membership. Thank you to the several Dairyland team members that are in the room as Riverland members. And again, thank you to the Riverland board for the invite and Tim Holton for your great leadership. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
If anybody does have any questions or comments for the folks from Dairyland, they will be around after the meeting. So please come up and look them up, and we'll try to get things answered for you. So when I go back to listening to Brent talk, being here for, like I said, the last 35 years, I never thought that we'd be in a position where we had to worry about having enough electricity to get onto the lines. It's really important that we all pay attention to it, that we all make sure that our legislators are doing the right thing, and that we stay abreast on what's going on, because we want to keep the lights on. Safety, I'm going to jump back to safety first and foremost. Riverland Energy. We had an excellent year last year. This is our measure, this is our bar that we try to hit every year. No significant accidents. And it's not only employees, that's also public. We've got 3,500 miles of lines stretched over a few counties. Trying to keep everybody safe and out of those lines is imperative. It's extremely important to us. Safety demonstrations, this is kind of fun. Our crews love to get out and do safety demonstrations. We do safety demonstrations, well, this last year was 24 schools for 1,200 students. And a lot of the times it's our linemen, most of the time it's linemen or line crews going out and doing them. They know the kids, they can relate to the kids, and they really have a fun time doing it. Not only students, we also do firefighters, we do EMTs, we do municipals. Anybody that has a chance of getting into electricity, we want to talk to you. Workers' compensation, being safe, does save money. We're at a 0.72 workers' comp modifier last year. That saved all of us in this room $30,000 on our workers' comp claims, or on our workers' comp premium, sorry. Reliability in 2022, Riverland Energy spent almost $6.5 million on upgrades and improvements to the system. In 2023, we'll spend another $6 million on the lines and another $1.8 million on substations and substation upgrades. The maintenance, this is ongoing between tree trimming, spraying, underground inspections, cable locating. We'll spend another $1.5 million inspecting the system annually. December 15th. So as many of you may recall, back in 2021, December 15th, we had a heck of a storm. This was a slide I put up a year ago, and we're just deciding that in 2023, we're going to go from December 14th right to the 16th. In 2022, we had snow. So in 2022, we had 18 linemen from Riverland out working. We have 19 total. Because the storm was so widespread, we also reached out for help, and nobody had any help to send us. Co-ops help each other, cooperation among cooperatives. Everybody was out working. We got a couple of crews from My Energy. We also had 2 of our meter technicians going out in front of the crews, just trying to identify the problems. They could go through, they could walk right away, identify the problems, so our crews could just get right there and take care of the problem. It was extremely helpful. We had a contract crew. We had 2 tree trimming crews. We had the majority of our members back on within 30 hours. Personally, I think this is remarkable, and it's a testament to the men and women that we had out there. When we were into this thing for about 20 hours, I was out in the field personally looking at it going, this isn't going to happen. We may have to call the crews off. But the men and women that we had out there were like, now we can do this. And they stayed and they worked 30 hours straight and got the majority of people on. So it's pretty impressive, and we owe them our gratitude. Our outage time, 1.5 hours annually is the average that Riverland was running up until December 15th. That one storm jumped us up to 2.6 hours. Going on to affordable, the only thing I can think about affordable is challenges. We're all in the same boat on this one. Electricity prices surged 14.3%. Everybody sees this in the news. Inflation, this is double what inflation is going. Our material costs, 30% they went up to last October, and they've went up another 5 to 10% since then across the board. That's if we can get it. A few examples, transformers. Every service that we have has to have a transformer. Transformers have went up almost 80%. A transformer that we used to call and order and have in 2 days, right now it's over a 2-year lead time on it. So life is changing for us on the material side. A lot of it's due to metals. Other items, 65%, 50%, and there's just no ceiling on it. So how does this affect Riverland Energy? So Dairyland Power's in the same situation that we're in. Dairyland projects what their rate is going to be for the following year. When we get that projection in the fall, we see how it's going to affect Riverland, and what it looked like was going to be a 6.64% increase to Riverland Energy. Dairyland has a base rate, some high, some low, but from that base rate, it looked like it was going to be 6.64%. So the long and short of it is, Dairyland is, our power bill to Dairyland is 61% of our gross income, gross revenue. So it has a big effect on us. So with that, coupled with the other items I talked about, you're going to see a 6.64% rate increase starting May's bill. You'll see it the first time in June. I want to keep everybody to keep that in mind, that we do also have a power cost adjustment. So when we're running through the month, if our power costs go up, you might see a power cost go up a little bit. If our power costs go down, you might see a power cost credit. So just because I'm pointing out here that we have a 6.64 increase, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but we have to have a base rate. So far, things are looking favorable for us on the wholesale power side, but the potential is there for 6.64%. How do we compare? If there's a silver lining to this, if you see some of the numbers that are up there, Dairyland Power right down in the middle of 5.6%, which is their base, said some are higher and some are lower, you're going to see numbers of 8, 15, 10. I think that there's only one number on there that's lower than Dairyland Power. So they're doing an excellent job at keeping our rates down. That's through that diversity. What can we do? The number one goal here is make sure that we have enough electricity, make sure we have sufficient base load to keep the lights on. Otherwise, as I said, the safety and affordability aren't going to matter to us. When you see that we're experiencing these peak alerts, we do it through TV, we do it through radio, through social media. If you hear about that, just like they used to say as kids, go shut the lights off. You're not born in a barn. Go shut everything off that's not essential. It helps the entire system. It brings our load down, which saves money for everybody. And another item on there, I know that some people, do struggle with paying power bills. I just want you to know that there is help out there. If you or anybody else that you know is having trouble, contact your local county government. They do have funds available. We talk to them. We make sure that they know when disconnects, when bills and everything are coming out. So make sure that you contact your local county governments. They do have help. So with that, that's the end of my presentation. I will also be around after the meeting. Love to talk to you. If anybody has any questions that they don't want to come up and ask, in your packet, you did have a piece of paper in there that you can write the question out, get your name on there, and we'll be sure to get back to you with it or publish it on our website. So with that, I will call up Dave Butler. Thank you.
Thank you. Would Dave Anderson and Fran Freedy please come up? I'll do Dave first. On behalf of the Board of Directors, employees, and members of Riverland Energy Cooperative, thank you for your commitment, leadership of our cooperative, and grateful appreciation to Dave Anderson for his 15 years of dedication service as director between 2008 and 2023. Thank you, Dave. Again, on behalf of the Board of Directors, employees, and members of Riverland Cooperative, thank you for your commitment, leadership of our cooperative, and grateful appreciation to Fran Freedy for 8 years of dedication service as director, 2015 to 2023. Thank you. We really do want to thank the two for the support and leadership we had on our board, and just want to let our members know that in the last number of years, this is probably one of the best boards I have seen in my position of leading. They respect each other. We get a lot of discussion and a lot of good ideas that come out of this, and we're working hard for you, and we do thank them very much.
Back with the results. First, I do want to thank the members who served as tellers this year, be Sue Schultz, Dee Neitzel, Nancy Fila, and Susan Frame. Ladies, if you're in here, if you could stand, and if everyone could give them a round of applause, that would be great. Thank you. So the certified election results for District 6 are as follows. Steve Hogden received 210 votes, and Daniel Beck received 105 votes. As a result, Steve Hogden is hereby elected as the director for District 6. Thank you. So consistent with past practice, I would ask for a motion at this time, if everyone's in favor, to destroy the ballots following the end of this annual meeting. Is there a motion? Thank you. Anyone to make a second? Thank you. If you still have your green voting cards, all in favor, please signify. Thank you. Is anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. I will take care of doing that. I'll turn it back over to Chairman Podler. Thank you.
I would like to thank Riverland Energy employees for getting things set up today, and for the Arcadia Public School employees for the ability to be here in a nice facility. And also thank you, our members, being here today to make it possible. And this is what makes our organization so great. We thank you very much. Immediately following this meeting, the board and new elected board members will go to a meeting room just outside here for the reorganization meeting. And now I will call on Jessica, Attorney Jessica, to close the meeting.
First, I am really happy to announce there is no unfinished business that we need to tend to. Is there any new business to be brought before the meeting? All right, with that, I would request a motion to adjourn the meeting. There is a motion. Is there a second? All in favor? Is anyone opposed? Okay, now don't go anywhere because the fun part of the meeting is coming up next. So thank you, everyone. The business meeting has adjourned. I'll turn it over to Tim.
Are we ready to give away some money? Got some scholarships going. So I need Scott and I believe Rob up here. Come on, Rob. So the way that this works, we have federated youth funds that we have allocated. They're actually funds that are from unclaimed capital credits, and we are able to use those for anything called youth. So we give away scholarships, we help Boys and Girls Clubs, we have Boys Scouts, Girl Scouts, just all kinds of really neat stuff, so the money goes to a good purpose. Today we're going to give away $32,000 in scholarships. So what we're going to do is you have to be present to win, either the student, the parent, or the guardian. If we draw a name and that person isn't there, we draw the next name. If we end up drawing so that there's no names left in the bucket, that means that there's an extra scholarship. All the rest of the names are going to go into a bucket at the end, and we'll draw for that last scholarship. So if you're not drawn right away, stick around. There's a good chance that we'll be drawing for an additional scholarship. So with that, the first one we've got started is Elma. We'll just have somebody draw the first name there. Elma High School. Whoever's name is drawn will be drawing the second one. Better put my glasses on for this. Emma Myron? Is Emma here today? There she is. And after the meeting is done here, if your name was drawn, we'll be looking for you in the back of the room to get your envelope and paperwork. Or actually, Sarah right up here, she'll get it to you. You know, I used to run when I did that. Second one from Elma High School, Katrina Heller. Elma High School, Katrina Heller. There we go. Arcadia High School is up next. Arcadia High School, Tristan Liga. Second one from Arcadia High School, Connor Walzine. Connor here, there he is. What school we got up next here? Blair Taylor. Yep. So before he draws the name in there, I will tell you there's one applicant in here. So if anybody knows anybody in high school looking for scholarships, make sure that you get a hold of Riverland Energy and get your name in the hat. It's a pretty easy morning for $1,000. Blair Taylor High School, Abby Thompson. CFC. The anticipation. I'd sing you a song, but I'm not a very good singer. Room would clear out. CFC High School, Aaron, K-N-E-C-H-T. Matt, sorry. I knew I'd butcher it, so easier to spell it. Next one from CFC. CFC, Ella Arneson. CFC High School, is Ella here? Oh, man. All right, another one from CFC. Telling you, just to get up early on a Saturday for $1,000. Or to hear me speak. CFC, Andrew Bison. Up next, Durand High School. Can you pick it up there? You're not on vacation anymore. Durand High School, Casey Wittig. Is Casey here? Going once? Casey Wittig? Oh, drawing another name. Durand High School, Shane Preisel. Shane here? Right over there. Yep, those two. Oliva Strum. Jordan Moan, Oliva Strum High School. Cora Gerke, Levistrom High School. Cora, there you go. GET is up next. GET is William Mack. Here he is. Second one from GET High School, Maggie Bistido. Maggie Bistido. Going once. Maggie Bistido. Going twice. We're going to pull another one for GET High School. Haley Eichen, GET High School. Haley Eichen. Gillsville have a snowstorm we don't know about? We're going to pull another one. This was nice and close. Emily Wright. GET, Emily Wright. Going once, going twice. How about Shayna Kirky? There we go. Woo! Next, we got Gilmington High School. Gilmington High School, Hunter Ginther. Gilmington High School, Brianna Killian. Gilmington High School, Brianna Killian. You here? There we go. Brianna? Oh, sorry, I thought you were standing up. Gotcha. Let's pull one more. Yep. Yep. Gilmington, Carter Lessman. Nope. Holman? We got Holman up next. Holman High School, Carter Gold. Second one for Holman High School. Keaton Bresky. Is Keaton here? Oh. Second, Holman High School, Kyla Kristanovich. There we go. Kyla. Independence. First one for Independence goes to Kendra Sir. Kendra Sir. Going once, going twice, Kendra, sir. Lose your place back there. Independence, Benjamin Pica. Ben Pike. Number 2 for Independence, Anna Bouch. Anna Bouch. Going once, Anna Bouch. Going twice. Draw another one. Independence, Kaylee Zastro. Kaylee Zastro. Get another one. Yeah. Is it only one left in there, Rob? Show the fail. Joycelyn Perry. Got Mondovi up next, or what? Mondovi High School, Emily Nelson. Emily, there we go. Looked like we had some bargaining going on over there for this one. Jake Acola. Jake Acola, Mondovi High School. Osseo Fairchild. First one for Osseo Fairchild. Delaney Lingen. Delaney Lingen. There we go. First one for Osseo Fairchild, Emily Bauer. Emily Bauer. Onalaska's up next. Didn't think the drawing would take longer than the meeting, but it's a lot of money to give away. Onalaska, McKenna Murphy. McKenna Murphy, Onalaska. Second one for Onalaska, Nick Rudrud. There we go. there, Scott? 2. My alma mater, Whitehall High School. Don't hold it against them. Whitehall High School, Shalee Moats. Shalee Moats, Whitehall High School? Nope. Draw another one. Whitehall High School, Shay Hansen. There we go. Attaboy, some enthusiasm. That's what we like. Act like you just got $1,000. Second one, Whitehall High School, Zoe George. Hey, front row. That was planning, sitting in the front row. So next up, we've got a line worker scholarship. If anybody is thinking about or has kids thinking about going to line school, we do give away 2 $1,000 scholarships to line school also. Ben Pica. How many are we short? Oh, the at-large. Yeah. Hard to draw if it's taped. There you go. I think somebody was messing with us. Tape the top shut. All right, this is at large. Chance Ernst. Did we have one more at large? There's one more at large. So these here are the additional scholarships for ones that weren't claimed. Holman High School, Riley Olson. Riley Olson here. Next one in the group. This one went to CFC High School, Hale Madsen. So we've got 2 more to pull out of the hat here. This one is going to Mondovi High School, Ryan Fueling. This will be the final scholarship. Going back to GET High School, Cadence Cockett. And that is it for all the $1,000 scholarships. Again, young students, thank you for coming. Hopefully you learned something. Up next is going to be the general drawing. All right, head take a peek, see what we're giving away here. So what we did is, when the tellers went back and counted balance, we had them draw in the sake of time. So we drew the first name that came out is gonna get the top prize worked out. If you're not here, we just continue on down the line. So hopefully that makes sense. So the very first prize for adults is the smart TV that's in back. We have one of those, and that goes out to Sarah Cerez. Tim? And these can be picked up in the back. TV. The next item is a leaf blower. That goes out to Andrea Schmeling, County Road T. Andrea, you here? They're here. That's the leaf blower. The next one is a $100 Quick Trip gift card. Daryl Nelson. Is Daryl here? You got a $100 gift card. Next one is a $100 light bill credit. Judith Hoff. Judith Hoff here? Raise your hand if you're here. There we go. The remaining, we have 20 $50 electric bill credits. Jody and Dawn Gerke. There we go. Next one is Christina Hansen. Christina and Arn Hansen. Got them? All right. Kim Jackson. Woo. Next one, Cindy and Steve George. There we go. Next one, we've got Kim and Deborah Randall. Woohoo, we're over there. William, it's kind of smudged on here, MRKV. Okay. So, those people. Chuck Michaels. Chuck Michaels. Is he here? Don't see it? That one goes to the side. Sherry Lee. Sherry and Don Lee. People sneak out. Sherry and Don Lee. Mary Klevgard. There we go. Jerry Gerink, I'm sorry. I know I saw Jerry here. Jerry Gerink? Snuck out too? Man, I don't blame him. Susan Bacon. Susan and Gary Bacon? All right. Dennis Waters? Dennis Waters. There. Claire Waters. You won too. Claire. Tell us how you really feel, Claire. Elizabeth Morris. Elizabeth and Tom Morris. Nice. Gail Strang. Stranc. There we go. Elcheski Farms. There we go. James and Brian Kamla, right in the back. Jean and David Herman. Jean and David Herman. There. Sharon Salzway. Sharon Salzway. There we go. Colleen Conkle. Colleen Conkle. There. Tim and Danielle Johnson. Right there. So we need, there's one, for the ones that didn't come, Betty and Archie Sherry. Betty and Archie Sherry? No? Rebecca TJ. Ex-employee of Riverland. It's two, James Byrne. James Byrne, right there. And this here, I believe, is going to be the final one of the $20, $50 bill credits. Pat Grukalski. Pat or Ron Grukalski. There you go. All right, so that is the $50 gift cards. All right, so 7 and under, we got a couple gift baskets. We got Harper Powell. Is Harper Powell here? It must be here, filled out a card. All right. Brady Brockway. Right there. Those are our two 7 and unders. So this right here is ages 8 through 13. It's an electric scooter. Guess I get to draw this one. Zach TJ. Back there. Way to go. Now for the AirPods first. All right, 14 through 18. This is for some AirPods. Will Mack. Will Mack? Yep. Oh. This here is for a $50 Quick Trip gift card. Claire Rolbecki. Claire Rolbecki. Nice. And this is for another $50 Quick Trip gift card. Gilmer Sorez. Gilmer Sorez. There you go. That is it for all of the door prizes. That concludes our meeting today. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it.